welcome to Careers After Corona, a series where we talk about the post-COVID world, the future of the education system, and the job market in general going forward. edX Live brings you this series in association with Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. The arts versus engineering debate has been on for decades now. We've had movies and it's a part of our pop culture even. But once the pandemic blows over and the lockdown ends, would the students prefer one stream over the other? To discuss this, we have with us today Dr. Neelam Upadhyay, an assistant professor at Amrita School of Engineering. She is a physicist with 10 years of experience in teaching. Hello, Dr. Upadhyay. We also have with us Dr. P. Shankar, the principal of Amrita School of Engineering. He is also a professor of metallurgy and has been teaching students for decades now. Hello, Professor. Coronavirus pandemic has not just caused a health crisis, it has also caused an economic pandemic. People are losing jobs, and also jobs that were offered to the students, they have been taken back. For example, in Jadavpur University in Calcutta, a consultancy firm has taken back 12 jobs that it had previously offered the students, right? Deloitte has cancelled its summer internships and said that they don't have money to pay the salaries as well. With the job market being hit this severely, do you think the course students choose will also change with time?
It's already a technology-driven world, but there's going to be a greater emphasis on science-based technologies. We are already hearing about the buzzwords in the market: artificial intelligence, IoT, automation, robotics, big data, machine learning. Now, what will happen is the scenario will build that all these technologies will now reinforce and ensure that the industry is more resilient to such pandemics and disasters in future.
Of course, there has been a crisis, no doubt about it. Jobs have been taken back in some cases, not every cases. I would personally feel that one should learn from the strategies these companies are changing. So they also know that they will need manpower in the future and they cannot really stop their hiring process. And they are just learning from this challenge and taking it as an opportunity, going on to different platforms. And I will suggest students to consider this pandemic as an opportunity. They should equip themselves with the skills which probably they were not having. Now that is the time when they should learn what skills are required. So to be frank, I don't think there will be changes in the courses offered, but what will happen is the whole engineering program might get restructured. Now people will be talking more about interdisciplinary exercises. Earlier, this practice was noticed only in a few prestigious institutes, not everywhere.
Engineering courses get updated regularly, right? How much of it do you think is from the feedback that the engineering colleges, the professors get from the industry?
Today, the industry requires students to be job ready on day zero, and that's what the good universities are preparing the students for, with periodic updation in the curriculum. We have several experts from the industry on board in our expert committees, and we are able to get the latest technology trends included in the curriculum.
To be honest, in India, the curriculum was not revised for a long time. AICT was following a very old curriculum. In fact, last year, sometimes around March, Indian Express did an article stating that 80% of the engineering students are unemployable. In fact, that was a report from the National Employment Agency also. They were assessing the quality and they said these students are not capable to address any of the current trends, or they are not skilled for that. There is a lot of training cost involved and time will be required, which was not worth spending. And only, I would say, in past couple of years, after the initiative of Make in India launched by our Prime Minister, where he very much stressed upon one of the aims was that we should improve the quality of students, especially our engineers, and bring them into Make in India project. It was only then that AICTE started proposing revision of curriculum. So only top institutes like IITs and all, they were the one to introduce AI long back. I would say they have introduced it almost 5 years back. And only recently, I think from this coming semester, the new courses were supposed to be implemented by compulsorily by all the institutes. So, of course, this was a feedback which definitely came from industry.
Humanities, on the other hand, has not updated courses for a long time, longer than engineering. Do you think in a post-COVID world this might change? We would have more updation in these courses and more people will be interested?
I completely agree with your point that humanities have been sidelined not only now but for past 2 decades. I mean, globally, universities have seen a decline in the degrees awarded in humanities. Now, one thing which we all should understand is humanities teach us how to deal innovatively, creatively with the problem. It enforces critical thinking and multiple things. In fact, there is a very beautiful article by Palgrave Communications, and in that the author is highlighting the need of humanities in the today's knowledge society. Now, to uh, support this thing, in fact, Amrita Vishwavidyapeetham, their mission and vision is that the education should be for sustaining the life. I mean, it's a value-based education. That is the aim of our esteemed Chancellor Amma. And based on that, she has taken this initiative of establishing live-in labs wherein people are sent to rural areas. And this is absolutely an interdisciplinary project. And they are sent to rural areas. They interact with the rural community there. They find out what problems they have, and the team of engineers, social workers, volunteers, students come together to come up with a sustainable solutions for these problems. And in support with this, there is something called as Amachi Lab, which is also there, where they are like developing technologies which is going to be applicable in rural Indias, and they have completed many successful projects till now. In fact, these two particular projects have been so popular with foreign students that even foreign students are coming and voluntarily participating in it. Now, if I want to talk about the other institutes, with these emerging courses, they have realized that when we talk about artificial intelligence or robotics, or you talk about data driven science we are studying, this all is having a lot of impact on our social life. You need to talk with the people, you need to understand the society, their psychology, and many things. So I think they have already realized that engineers, if they don't do humanities, they are just going to be good engineers, but they will not be the better engineers. They are just good at doing their work, but that work will never be applicable to society or sustainable. So I think people have already globally realized this difficulty, and they are already working towards it.
The AICTE chairman himself had last year said that the quality of students coming to study engineering has deteriorated over the years. Is this a school level issue or a college level problem, that, and how can it be solved?
We have to restructure both our school as well as our higher education curriculum. There has to be greater emphasis on personality development, on skill development, and the ability of students to question, to think creative, to experiment on their own. Whatever this training given at school must be continued at their higher education. We still have certain pockets of good school curriculums, good schools, good universities in our country. But when we speak on an average, when we look at the entire country, we can say that most of the institutions are following certain road mode of methods of learning.
Now, when this transition from school to college is happening, there are multiple factors, not only just the academic factor, but social factors also there. So sometimes we have observed a good student in school is not performing well in college. That doesn't mean that it has to be questioning the school system. It could be absolutely another reason, the group he is interacting with, the environment he has come to. Maybe he's not just able to fit in that environment himself or herself. So I wouldn't say that it is a school system which is to be questioned or the college system which is to be questioned. There is a social aspect to that also, which we are not even thinking about.
Do you also think that India is still suffering from a brain drain? Are our brightest minds going abroad more than they are staying back here?
Unfortunately, yes. Until last year, there are still many people who are going away, and all said and done, still I think Europe and US are the lot bigger attraction. Especially US is a bigger attraction. So yes, we are still facing the brain drain.
Do you see this situation changing anytime soon? Maybe after COVID, after the pandemic blows over, the lockdown, everything is over, and we start getting back to normal?
To be frank, this pandemic is not any region specific. It is globally. So whatever is happening is globally. So if the normalcy is coming, it is going to come back globally. So for time being, we might see that people will come back to their place, or even now you see they are stuck in foreign lands. They want to come back only because of the policies. And if those policies can be made flexible, they will prefer to stay there. I don't think they are coming back out of their heart, but it is the need of policy which is enforcing them to get back. So as a normalcy comes back, I think the trend will still be the same unless there are some major changes in facilities in our country or the mindset in our country. Unless that changes, it won't change.
Talking about research in India, we've seen the Hike Research Fellowship protest that happened, and only after that, a lot of us got to know that how less we pay our researchers, right? Do you feel as a researcher in India at present that we have enough opportunities? And if we don't, where do we need to work on the most? And on which ground do you think we should start working right now?
Frankly speaking, India always had lot of challenges, lot of opportunities, lot of researchers, lot of talent also. But we don't have an environment to nurture them. That is the difficulty. There are multiple factors to it. The way the curriculum is designed, the way the academia is working, the way the facilities or the flexibility is granted to a researcher. Of course, government is working towards that direction. They are now coming up with many schemes, but it is only happening recently.
Research is mostly passion driven. I can tell you, I myself started my career with atomic energy. The salary, the remuneration those days, 20, 30 years back, was far less than what it is presently. Today, even the JRF Junior Research Fellowships and the Senior Research Fellowships are receiving reasonably good package, consolidated stipends that should attract the best of brains into research. But what has happened in the last 10, 20, 30 years is the research infrastructure has grown multifold in our country because of the stronger funding available through government agencies like DST, DBT, and so on, Department of Information Technology. It's not only the major research centers that have established high-tech research infrastructure, but even some of the good universities and good institutions have been able to set up reasonably good research ambience.
US, some countries in Europe, they were in a similar position 20 to 30 years back, and they have come a long way, and now they have a proper setup, an environment that is conducive to research as well. Do you think it will take us that long, or would we do it faster?
No, I think we are already on the path of this progress, because already government is taking multiple initiatives. Recently, like DST has come up with a more new project called as Supra, wherein they are like asking for new projects which are directly implementable, interdisciplinary projects, and it is not like addendum to any existing projects. Same way, they are also like to bring in industry into the research areas to bring in that kind of development. They have come up with the technology hub development. So I think already a country has realized that what is the need of the time, and they have already taken measures, and they are promoting these kind of projects and schemes through their portals. They are encouraging academicians from private institutes or entrepreneurs also to come up. Like for COVID-19, there were like multiple short-term projects asked for, wherein the faculty can work in collaboration with any industry and come up with a more viable solutions for helping the fight against this pandemic.
Do you think there's a difference in working in a private university as a researcher as opposed to working in an IIT or a CSIR in India?
Yes and no. Research has to always grow by collaboration. Now, the advantage for government institutions is they have reasonably a better support in terms of financial funding and resources. Private institutions have to still, at the end of the day, depend on government funding agencies and balance of sheet agreements. But having said that, the scenario today in our country is definitely improving. We are getting much better financial support from the research funding agencies. Yes, there is an imbalance in terms of the extent of research funding that is still possible in private institutions.
Only difficulty I could see is maybe in a private university getting the technical staff or additional manpower might sometimes get difficult, but not all the time. Some private universities are very well established and they have a very much dedicated support for research. They are encouraging it. But in other private universities, I mean, to talk generally, there are certain difficulties, but at the same time, IITs or any other place have some other difficulties. So the point is, the difficulties are not the same. The difficulty levels are different. Maybe in IIT also the people face difficulty, but those difficulties are addressed probably much faster than it will be done in a private system. And in certain aspects, a private system has more liberty than the IITs or NITs.
And I hope going forward, India will at some point become as developed and have a conducive environment for research, and we will have an amalgamation of all the courses in a post-COVID world. Thank you, Professor, for joining us.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
If you have any queries about engineering or would like to know about how to get admission, please leave a question in the comments below and we'll have faculty of Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham reach out to you. If you like the content of these videos, do feel free to like, share and subscribe. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. All the best and have a great career. Stay safe.